How's it, everyone? Welcome back. This is the Mac Coast to Coast Show. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you know when we go live. Here's your host, Brian McLemara.
Hey babies, welcome again to another episode of the Mac Coast to Coast. I'm so glad to be here with you, and I'm here with my main man, Razzle.
What's happening, everybody? Missed you guys, man.
T-Mac.
Hey guys, what's up? Hey, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, hit that bell notification because you will be entered to win a free shirt. Every week we'll be raffling names and picking out who's going to win a shirt, so don't forget to subscribe. Welcome to the show.
That's right, T-Mac. And in addition to subscribing, let's go ahead and give a shout out to our fabulous sponsors. Future 6 Helping Hand, providing free ocean-centric programs for children with special needs. And Brotherhood 808 Clothing. Friends are your chosen family. Brothers for life. And live life to the fullest. Hey guys, so it's another great week in MacTown.
Yeah.
What's
How
happening?
you, buddy? What's up, boys?
Back at it again.
Right on, man. Another week went by. We got spring breakers coming out to Hawaii now. It's starting to blow up out here. It's getting busy.
What's up with that? What's up deal with the spring breakers?
Well, luckily with we've got a little dry weather here now lately, but there for about 3 weeks we had just monsoon rain just coming down. Cities like Haleiwa got flooded out. The dam broke, basically just flooded the whole town. The rivers weren't being, the canals weren't being flushed out by the county. So they basically, overflowed into the town. And then the same thing happened in Maui. It was crazy, man. We had like rain for weeks. It's finally dried out now. It's beautiful again. But I guess it's just that time of year. How about over your way, Brian?
Yeah, I mean, it's been super nice, man. Like, the weather's up in the 60s, maybe it's tapping into the 70s. Been driving around, chilling,
got the
hanging
convertible out again?
Oh, yeah, walking the dog.
Right on. What about you, Razzle? How's the Florida life going?
We're actually allowed to go back to the beach now that all the northerners are going home. We actually could go there. They left a lot of trash for us, which we're awful thankful for. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for that trash.
Yeah.
That's
Just
horrible.
Come down here
man.
and use and abuse. Gotta love it.
Well, that's why every year I think we should just go to some place like, I don't know, Kentucky or Iowa and just shit all over the place.
I think we should go a little higher than that. Maybe Ohio and Michigan and just, take a crap right on the beach, maybe. It's a Great Lake shit. Oh, like I like to say. Pardon my French.
Well, like places that people like to come to the beach and eat stuff. Like, you could just go to, like, I don't know, somewhere in Maine and, like, get a bowl of clam chowder and just eat half the bowl and just leave the other half on a bench.
Some chowder?
In the hot sun.
Some chowder?
Chowder. No, it's a beautiful place up there, man. Have you guys ever been to Maine?
Yeah.
Never been. I heard a lot about it, though. I heard it's beautiful up there.
You know what I noticed about Maine was that when you go in the store, there's like 300 people in the whole little town, but there's like 80 people up on the board, like the most wanted. It's like, wow, dude. It's like 1/3 of the town's up there pasted on the pinup board.
That's,
like, damn.
That's brutal.
Wow.
Yeah, watch your
brutal.
neighbors, I guess.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
But it is pretty up there.
Yeah, I mean...
Disclaimer. Yeah. Visit Maine. It's wonderful.
Don't get your pockets picked.
Don't leave your car unlocked. But have a good time.
It's super safe up there, man.
Yeah.
Gets wicked cold up. My buddy has a place up in Maine, and I go visit him every year, or I try to, every other year at least. And he's got a Boston whaler boat, and we take it out into the ocean. It's pretty sick.
Nice.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Wicked.
Might want to look him up on the FBI's most wanted list. Before he takes you out next time, you might not ever come in.
Wow. Yeah, that's a good point. Might want to do that.
So yeah, we've this week we have a great guest, man. We got a guy, Lawson, man. He's a surfboard shaper, WSL judge, great guy, man. All right, I want to welcome Gordon Lawson. How you doing, buddy?
All good, guys.
What up, Gordo?
What up?
Welcome to the Matt Coast to Coast show. Thanks for joining us today. Great to have you, man. How you been?
Oh man, all good. We just had a good little run of waves, and I'm a surf-stoked Grom right now. I'll be honest. It's been pumping.
That's awesome. Yeah, I see all the social media platforms. All the boys are posting the waves. They look super fun. All the boys are frothing, just stoked with the Florida swells. How was it, man? Tell me about the waves.
So we got lucky. We got a little northeast groundswell. You know, those ones that where the lefts are just perfect, and there was some against the grain rights. And you know, on the east coast over here, we'll take what we can get. And when we get those special days when it's clean, the wind's offshore, and you can just spread out and surf, that's rare. So we had 4 days of it, and that's a really rare. Yeah, so I'm happy. I don't even know what it looked like today.
Lots of icy hot going around, probably. sore muscle
sure.
kind.
Yeah, the old men are hurting after the next day. Like, oh.
Hey,
No, but it's cool how I'm sorry, Raz, but it's cool how when you do get a swell like that and you get in the rhythm of surfing every day and how good your body feels and I love that feeling, you know, when you get that 4-day stretch of waves and it just makes you feel alive again, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. We all need saltwater therapy, and it's best, you know, when you're out there shredding. That's when you really feel the best. Little sun, little salt.
That's true. Go ahead, Raz. Sorry about that.
That's all right, man. I was just gonna kick it back old school when I first met you when I moved over to the beach back in the '80s, and you were with Natural Art, and you know Todd Holland and those guys, you know, were blowing up, and I was just wondering why you think there's so many great surfers that come out of that area.
Well, yeah, Raz, I remember you back in the day coming over, and yeah, those were the glory days. And I think 1986, I started working at Natural Art, and Todd Holland, as you mentioned, yeah, there's a picture from 1990 on the right, and on the left, that's from Surf Camp for Billabong when I worked for those guys with Brian Hewitson, and that's probably 2007 or 2006. But anyway, back to what you're saying. Todd Holland was a good buddy of mine. I got lucky growing up in Cape Canaveral in the early 80s, and I got to meet all these surf stars, and I just played catch up my whole life trying to catch up to these guys that were already world class. You know most of them are our friends, and
right.
It's kind of that peer group you're talking about. It's special. We still hold more world titles than any part of the world, and
right.
And we've got unbelievable female surfers. We've got obviously the Slater brothers. You know, Todd was one of my close friends, so I got to ride his red and yellow boards every once in a while, and that felt cool.
Yeah, those things are iconic, man.
I'd love to have one.
Yeah, Sean was telling us a story about Kelly's first title, and he said Todd, was hurt, and he went out there and put it all on the line and beat Tom Carroll, which kind of helped Kelly with his first title. You know,
Yeah.
that was Sean's story. You know, I mean, that's what he believes. So, you know,
John's got some good stories if you just listen to him. You know, he's a character.
oh
And
yeah,
We forget how good of a surfer Sean was back then. He still could
Right.
probably outsurf everybody if he would just paddle out every once in a while.
yeah.
You know?
That backside smash he had was just insane. I remember.
He's lethal.
Yeah.
But yeah, those were the good days, man. I'll tell you what, I'm honored to have grown up in that time and era in surfing in Florida. And I mean, you guys probably remember like I do, the first time going to Sebastian Inlet, the first time surfing Spanish House. Still have that. You still get that feeling, and I don't know, the smell of coconut sex wax.
Yeah,
I remember that.
I remember I was scared down there at First Peak and everything because Trip Freeman and Jeff Crawford and all them dudes were just, I mean, it was insane, dude. It was just a great time to be a surfer. You get so much stoke, it was awesome.
Yes, you're right. Those were good times for sure.
Yeah, I remember one time I got a Rich Rudolph board back in the day, and I was all like, he was like my idol at that time, because, and I was all, the yellow boards he used to have, the quiet flights, I think they were. And I was always like, dude, this board is sick. But just having that stoke of, all the guys that were good then at that time, you had the Slaters, you had, him, you had, Todd Holland, you had all these guys that were, and I was just coming into the sport and learning, so it was a good time for me too, man. You too, back in the day, we used to have some good times.
We did. And we're still doing it. It's like, I don't let those days go by. Like when there's waves now, I'm on it. And that's kind of why I've devoted my life to surfing, because I don't want to miss those clean pumping days. They're so rare that it's like, if you had a real job, it would be tough,
Right.
I dedicated to surfing, which you guys know that's a struggle, but it has a lot of benefits.
Yeah, man. I want to kind of touch on that, man. You're doing the shaping thing nowadays. You got the Board Monkey boards going on. Go on boardmonkeyboards.com, people. Check him out. He's shaping boards for some really good surfers, and I'd love to hear about it.
Well, that all started back from when we were doing surf camp, and we started getting these young little shredders. And I'm like, man, their boards are too big. They can't even duck dive. And we started building performance ground boards, myself, CT Taylor, kind of thinking back to when Kelly Slater had those first little 411s and 50s. That's what we want to get these kids on equipment they could shred. They all can skate. They're all fired up. Right. They got videos, they got everything in there, but they needed boards. So that's what I focused on. The Board Monkey kid, he's coming at a good time because he's like my Northeast rep. He's actually from New Jersey. And we did a whole line of boards based off him and what his friends want and need, and airbrushes and designs. And like you're saying, that Rich Rudolph yellow is still popular today. It's still popular. They like pink, yellow, orange. So it's kind of come full circle. So I remember those days, and I implement all that stuff, all that history that we talked about just already is part of what I do every day with these kids. And
that's awesome. And
we teach fundamentals, and not, everyone wants to go out and do airs. Like, I want to get my fins out, rotate and spin and skate on a surfboard. And I'm like, whoa, let's see these rail turns. Let's see your bottom turn. And that's kind of where, I feel like if you really talk about style and surfing, who has a better style than Kelly Slater?
Right.
Maybe Raz. Raz has got a pretty good style.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, me and Kelly, we had a lot of paddles.
So Gordo, what's the deal with the Board Monkey website? So what do? You go to Board Monkey and
so that image right there, you see Cooper, that's the actual AKA Board Monkey, and you go on there and you can design your own custom shape. And the beauty of this is kids are so tacky now. They love to go on and look at these airbrush designs these kids have come up with. And like I said, it's all 80s back again. Oranges, pinks, yellows, blues, fades. Like this is what they like. And me, I'm as we were talking about, I'm not the most techie person. A podcast is kind of like going out on a limb for me, but I love it because it's my boys. So it's like, but these kids are handling almost helping me with Instagram in a sense. And then this Board Monkey thing came into my lap because I was building boards for him up in New Jersey. And he's like, all my friends want boards, dude. What do we do? And I'm like, can you facilitate it? And because you know how now you're getting digital payments, you're getting PayPal, Zells, Venmos. You don't even know what's going on half the time. I don't even know these names that people are trying to send me money. And I'm like, it's just easier for me, old school, to keep it all. So I started Board Monkey with him and his father, and it's just gone nuts. It's helped tremendously. And it's inspiring kids up the coast that normally wouldn't surf but 3 months out of the year because it gets so cold. They got better wetsuits now, and now they're surfing all year. So it's really cool, inspiring kids everywhere.
So
that's great.
your boards are actually Gordzilla, but it's a collaboration with this guy up in New Jersey.
Yes. So Gordzilla is my board company, and I kind of. Do you guys remember Brian Tudor, Bat?
Remember him? Yeah.
Okay, so Bat moved to Hawaii. He's over working. I think he works at Sugar Mill with those guys. So he kind of showed me in CT the ropes, and Rich Price was in there. He was the old natural art shaper.
Yeah.
Richard Munson's a good buddy of mine. He shaped all the Rich Rudolphs and
Yeah, I remember him.
back.
Yeah.
Remember Munson? Yeah. So all those guys helped me. Like, I'll take a board, I'll be like, what do you think, Richard? What do you feel this thing? Feel the rails, look at the concave. And I really get good feedback from those guys because they were craftsmen. We use the computer now. They were hand shapers. And the one thing that I want to kind of say, too, is that I'm a board builder, which is a little bit different than a shaper. Like, I can do it all. And
Cool.
I'm shaping them, painting them, glassing them, sanding them. And that way I have, like, it's kind of, I can't do big numbers, but I have more control over everything. And, you know, I do some contract glassing if I have to, but most of the time I touch all of them. So
Well, that's something I want to ask you is, like, who is, like, you coming up from back when we knew you back in the day in Cocoa Beach and everything, and, like, who is your biggest inspiration in getting into shaping, and who did you look up to at that time, and who was your inspiration on getting started on shaping?
Well, of course, you know, Richard Munson, we just talked about, Rich Price, Pat O'Hare, Bob.
Pat O'Hare.
Pat.
Rest in peace, brother. Yeah.
Pat O'Hare, 13th Street Mafia right there.
Oh, yeah, man. Great guy. I worked with him at Alma's back in the day.
You worked at Alma's?
Yeah, bro. He was the man, bro. I love that guy, you know, and rest in peace. You know, he was a great guy, man. He really was a genuine human, man. He was awesome.
Cocoa Beach royalty. And also
Hall of Fame.
Yes, sir.
Bob Strickland, another one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, it just all kind of, we started summertime in the late 90s, me and some buddies from Cocoa Beach, and I got a pretty good lesson on business and how not to do it, you know?
Right, yeah.
So, and then I cleaned all that up, and then now it's a new chapter, and I have a family now. I have a wife and a kid. My kid surfs, my wife surfs. My wife is actually in the picture, in the surf camp picture with all of us because we work together. And
okay.
Yeah, and so, yeah, she's one of the hot chicks in there in a bikini. I can't tell you which one. You have to guess.
Don't ask Razzle. This will be a long episode.
We'll have to look real hard.
But no, like, everyone inspired me. You know, you take little pieces from everybody that you surf with, or Bill Johnson. Bill Johnson.
Yeah, Bill Johnson. Yeah.
Remember those extreme boards he did, dude? Oh my God. I work for Natural Art, the enemy, and I wanted one of those so bad. But anyway, you know, if we could go back in those days and get all those boards together, I'd still want to ride some of those in the conditions we just had last week. I would totally love it. And that's why I kind of like wanted to figure out how to build a board, not just call myself a shaper and let other people do all the legwork. I like to do the whole process, hand it to the kid, surf with the kid, boy or girl. There's a lot of girls ripping now too, and I'm sure you see it in Hawaii, Tim. Like, there's girls.
Oh yeah,
everywhere.
Unreal.
Yeah, we got some footage of you building some boards, I believe.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
Tell you know.
What is that? Is that a wow?
That's the epoxy and everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm doing
Glass.
hot cooking, and that's Sam Barker. And Sam Barker does resin research. That's Greg Lower's old company. So he sells resin to everybody. And that's just a
Gordzilla.
cool, yeah,
The Gordzilla logo. I like it. It's cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I want to talk about that. Like, you know, like when we were, like, you know, Kelly Slater came, you know, basically changed the whole world of surfing, right? The boards were fatter in the 70s. And then Kelly came around with those potato chips, and we all wanted the flip nose, and we wanted the, you know, thin. We wanted them super potato chipped. And now the evolution of surfboards has come into this volume, more width, you know, fatter through the nose, paddle, you know, through the midsection. You know, you want all that. And I wanted to talk to you about that and how the surfing is, since you've been shaping, has changed the whole lot, you know, just with the volume and everything, right?
Oh, absolutely, Tim. Like, that's actually a brilliant question, because we were trying to ride these little glass slippers that Slater and the boys, Shane Dorian and
Tom Curran too, right?
yeah, Curran, like they're all riding boards that were just super chippy and rockered out, and they were what I call, and maybe we can talk about judging in a bit, but they were what I call manufacturers of, they could catch any wave and get a score kind of thing. They're just shredders. And we tried to ride those things and they're like, no, they don't work. They don't work for everybody. And so we started, and I think it's because of the computer, the shaping machines, we've been able to hide more volume. You can't really do by hand unless you'd have to shape so many, and I don't know how you could really do it. But you get to the point where you move the volume around, so you have paddle area, you have the rockers figured out, and things have snuck in a little bit wider and a little flatter lately, with more nose flip in the very end, but flatter throughout with a bunch of tail flip. And I think the kids like the boards with all the tail rocker and concaves because they can get the board out and flip it around easy and spin.
Right.
John. Look at John the way he surfs.
Yeah, unreal.
He does whatever he wants. Anything he wants to do, he can do. And you need a board that doesn't get in the way.
Gordo, what kind of board if a beginner, some of our listeners might be beginners, if somebody's beginning, what kind of board would they be looking to start on?
Well, I'll be honest, the best things now are soft boards because they're the shape of the soft tops, the durability, the ease in handling. You don't really need a board bag or anything. Those are what beginners really should start with, and they've gotten better and better. And then if you get to a point, and you'll know when you're there as a surfer, when you're like, I want a more high performance board. And that's when you go to like a fun shape, like the one you saw me hot coating in the video, like a 7-foot, 8-foot board that would give you the stability and the ability to catch any kind of wave, 1 foot, 2 foot, 4 feet, whatever. So, and then you get to the point where you're riding high performance boards, if that's what you want to do. Some people go the other way and want a longboard and want to surf more stylish than they do maneuvers. So
yeah, it's funny you say that, man, because when we started surfing, we didn't longboard. We just went right to the potato chips and we learned on that. And I tell people that all the time. They're like, so, if I want to learn how to surf, what do you recommend? I always tell them what you just said, maybe a Costco board, a blue board, or, the Big Island boys all surf blue boards and rip on them. And, but we didn't have that back when we were when I was started. We just got right on the potato chips and we learned the hard way. Basically we didn't go through that stage of having the soft tops and practicing on, long boards. And
thank God they had those nose guards on there, Saved a lot of injuries probably.
Those noses would hit you and just poke right through your skin every time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I had one go through my lip right here one time at Jocko.
I had one come right there from the leash coming back.
Yeah.
Wow.
Speaking of shaping, though, our good friend DJ, you just shaped him a board. He's going out to Waco, and he's going to do a little correspondence for us out there and, tell us a little about Waco. But you shaped him a board. And maybe you could tell us a little bit more on what goes into a wave pool board versus a regular board.
Well, first thing, DJ didn't order what I would call a wave pool board. He wanted what we were just talking about, an 80s replica. He wanted a Jeff Crawford red cut lap. He put me through the test on this one, but I'm glad to do it. But I'm curious to see how it goes at the pool. For me, I've been to Waco. I judged the Rip Curl Grom Search there, the world finals for the for Rip Curl with all the kids under 18, and I got to surf the pool a bunch. And I'll say one thing, Raz, Tim, you'll never, if you get to go to Waco, you'll never surf Typhoon Lagoon again.
Oh, no way.
I
want to surf that wave. I really do. It's on the bucket list, brother. That and the Slater pool for sure.
The Slater pool, we should all get an invite for that.
Let's do it, dude. Let's put
maybe we could do a back coast to coast out there one time or something.
Oh, we have to make that happen.
That we do. Awesome. I told Sean that when he was on the show, man. Let's make it happen. That would be epic.
Get Skippy and everybody and just do it up.
But
Yeah,
that's kind of what I was telling DJ at the time, that he might want to get something kind of shorter, fatter, that'll fit in the pocket of that wave, because it's such a pockety wave. It's not it's such a bowl that you want
I'll tell you
something
what,
that's not going to nosedive. I'm sorry.
You're spot on with your advice. I told him the shortest we could go. He settled on 6'5", but for me, in a pool that's non-salt water, I would want an epoxy, because EPS foam floats a little better, has a little bit more buoyancy in the foam. It's more on top of the water, where polys, the old true Clark foam, tried and true blank, is going to set more into the water to kind of hold better. Like what you need like those boards behind you, Tim, those are polys.
Right. Yeah.
You surf real waves.
I surf polys.
Yeah, I can see them. I know they are, and those are sick. That's what you need there. But in a wave pool, to me, you get a little shorter, stubbier, fishier board. You go EPS. You make it a little bit more whippy, and that wave does everything for you. If you get in rhythm with that wave, it's like, I can't explain it. It's more like a wave than an actual ocean wave. Like you said, there's more water coming up. It's more scooped out. You can poke the nose real easy. And I'm curious to see how DJ does. This is going to be epic. You guys got to let me know when to watch that.
Hey, we're gonna have him on the show. We're gonna have him give us a review. Hopefully, we'll get some footage of him, and we'll see how the red board does, man. And I'm excited.
It's a beautiful board. I was stoked. I was stoked to build it for DJ, but I was like, for the pool, like I was like, whatever.
Well, these other boards you were shaping for him when I went back to Florida, they were like super long and gunny, kind of like he likes that old school, that. But I was like, that's great for Florida, but the wave pool, you want something a little shorter that'll fit in the pocket. It won't nosedive if you get something too long. I was telling him that.
I was trying to get him more in the retro ripper, kind of like, the 80s board, but maybe 6.0, go 20 wide. But he talked me into more. He likes length, like you said. He likes, and that's what's unique to surfing, and all of us, we're all a little bit different.
Right, that's right. That's his style, and that's great. Maybe he might just go out there and just the thing will work like magic for him, and I'm excited to see.
Well, we're looking forward to the.
I feel like
forward to the correspondence.
I feel like there's a little bit too much energy in the air of waiting to see what goes wrong. I don't know. I don't know. That's just kind of the vibe that I'm picking up here, man. But maybe
he'll
I'm
look
wrong.
good standing next to the pool, talking shit. Just kidding, DJ. Just kidding, buddy.
Nah, he's probably gonna go out there and rip, man. I'm excited for him. I'm happy for him, man. He's blessed to be able to go to this wave pool. Like I said, it's on my bucket list. I can't wait to one day surf it.
Yeah.
But
kind of make the Slater thing happen.
Supposedly there's one supposed to be coming here in Polk County. We'll see, but
that's word on.
That's
Polk County,
street.
The seventh wonder of the world.
Man, we've been waiting over here in Polk County.
Some rippers coming out of Polk County now.
The meanest locals you ever did see.
So Gordon, I wanted
title.
Oh, what's that now?
You could get some kid from Polk County and wins the world title. You never know.
Never know, man.
Never know nowadays. That's where the world's coming to. Everybody's going to be surfing wave pools in their hometown.
Do you guys make those boards in like deer camo?
Yeah, there you go.
Mossy Oak.
There you go. Razzle.
Take one of those up to Alabama with me. Surf the deer.
So, Gordon, I wanted to ask you, man. I mean, I didn't realize that you had been a judge on the WSL, man, and that must have been a great experience. And how was that, man? And where all did you do the judging at? You talked about the wave pool, but where else?
Okay, so I got lucky in the early 2000s and started getting asked to do some WQSs, which is the qualifying series that leads on to the World Tour. And I started going out to do lower trestles in Santa Cruz, and then we had the Sebastian Inlet Pros, the Virginia Beach ECSE. We'd have events pop up all over North America, and that's where I started. And then I kind of kept climbing the ladder and doing more events. Like I got to do the Azores, I got to do Japan. My claim to fame for every event, though, is I got to judge the Quicksilver Pro in New York in 2000.
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
And that was
I remember that contest.
And
Yeah.
remember
was-
the big air that Kelly did at Taj?
Yeah. And who won that? Who won? I forgot who won it. I almost had
Owen
the tip.
Wright won.
Olin Wright. That's right. Yeah.
And I'll never forget, he walked into the bar upstairs in that hotel. We were all in the same hotel. And they gave away like a Statue of Liberty flame, that she holds.
Yeah.
And the thing weighed like 60 pounds. And he walked in and handed it to this girl, and she dropped it on her foot and broke her foot. I'll never forget. Shelby was
Wow.
there. Hey,
Wow.
Shelby was there.
These are the days of our lives.
Oh shit.
Shelby, shout out Shelby. What's
Mike
up?
Duffield. It was like a reunion, and everybody. Skippy was traveling with Kelly then, and that's the youngest of the Slaters. For the people that don't know who Skippy is, Steven was traveling with Kelly then, and it was like this Cocoa Beach reunion in New York, and I got to work the event, so I felt like the coolest kid ever. Everyone's like, "What's Gordo always judging? Like, what the heck?"
Wow.
Yeah, so I was like, I remember I walked into the tower the one day, the waves are absolutely going off, Hurricane Katia. And
Yeah, I remember that. The waves were epic during that contest.
listen, the guys from Australia, our head judge at the time, he's like, you guys might probably remember Richie Porta. He was the head judge for a few years there. But anyway, he's like, he looks at me and my buddy Brian Walsh, who judged with me, and another East Coaster, and he's like, is it going to get any better? Is this about like what we're going to see? And I said, this is the best waves you'll ever see for any event. Run and finish today. And he was like, okay, game on.
Yeah.
And I was like, they just came from Tahiti or something. Their expectations are through the roof. They're world tour guys. And I'm like, this is New York. Like, we finished,
And it was epic. It was really good. I remember, man. I mean,
so good. But that's my favorite event. And, I got, like you were asking, Tim, I was really fortunate to get to travel a bunch before this whole COVID thing. And one of my favorite stops on the North America tour is Barbados. I get to go to Barbados usually twice a year. And I love going to California. I've been the head judge for the U.S. champs for the last 8 years, which is the top Hawaiians, top Californians, and top East Coasters battle out at Lower Trestles. And that's just a treat. That's like, I'm like, you guys are paying me to do this? Like, like I'll do it for free. They don't know that, but yeah.
don't say it too loud, man. Matt Coast to Coast might make it out there.
Yeah.
What kind of qualities do you got to have to be a judge? Like, what kind of qualities do they look for in a judge?
Well, I think first off, you got to have surfing IQ.
Right.
Wow, surfing IQ. Like, what is that?
Well, I know Tim's got it.
Yeah, you gotta know what speed, power, flow is, mate. You know what I mean?
There is a criteria.
You gotta know when they're crossing their T's and dotting their I's.
Yeah, exactly. We have a strict criteria that we stick to. It's changed. It's adapted. I shouldn't say it's changed. It's adapted more to progressive surfing because of the Felipe Toledos and the Italo Ferreiras. And I mean, like, if you think back on the world tour, there used to be Joel Parkinson, Mick Fanning, Kelly Slater. Now you got the Medinas and all these guys that they're so innovative in their maneuvers, and they're trying to do bigger maneuvers every time, and they're trying to outdo each other. So the criteria we stick to has adjusted, but really it's who's shredding. It's if we kept it simple. I think that when I say surfing IQ, it just means little things like for instance, Raz, like you could look at the beach and in 2 minutes or 10 seconds, really, you could look at the surf and know exactly where you want to surf, what it's going to do, if you're going back to work, if you're going to go get lunch, if you're going to run and get what board you're going to ride, and that's kind of what makes a judge. You have to be a big fan of surfing.
Exactly. You gotta know surfing. You gotta eat. Sleep.
You gotta live it, eat it, breathe
you gotta live it, and you gotta know what a good turn is. And I think about that when I watch contests and the two are out there, and then the last guy gets that last wave at the last seconds of the heat, and then I think of the pressure the judges have that they gotta make that call and they gotta score that wave, and I think like. That must be a lot of pressure on you guys, right?
It's so gnarly. And like when it's decision time and you're actually deciding if someone's going through to the next round or possibly paying their bills when they get home or you like this guy's way better than everybody else, but your score got tossed, unfortunately, so you didn't get to influence the panel. And it just so happens you're in customs going back home right next to them.
Right.
And they're like looking at you and they're like, who's this dork that's a judge that, and you're like, I've been real honest from day one. And I think that's what's helped my success is like, I'll tell people like, I had you making the heat, but I had to go with the team and they liked the other guy. It was a 3-2 split. Head judge put it in our hands. And there's a lot going on there. When we're up in that tower, I feel like if the WSL would just mic it up so everyone could hear. They don't like us to talk and discuss, but it's almost impossible when you see 4 guys rip 4 waves apart to put the categories and pinpoint numbers and get the right result. If you just walk up and see someone surfing, you're like, that guy's ripping, whoa, that was the best wave I've seen. Then you can kind of like, setting scales important, being good with numbers. You have to be good with numbers because you have to remember, and also recall. If you don't have good recall, like what happened at the beginning of the heat, and then all of a sudden you're throwing a biggest score you've thrown at the end of the heat, and it's not as good as the first wave ridden. So you got to be on point. It's tough. It's not easy.
I'm out.
Hey, and then you guys have like cameras, right? You have screens there in front of you, and you watch the waves, and you basically compare the last 2 waves, the best 2 waves. Well, you only get 2 good waves in a heat, so you look at the 2 waves on video, compare them together, right? Is that how you guys do it?
We utilize replay most of the time when there's a discrepancy. Or if you're a head judge, like when I was doing ISA in Japan, and ISA's like, that's who got us to the Olympics. That's Fernando from Reef, and that's Kramer and Bob from the Olympic Committee. Those guys have worked real hard, and when we got the system we got with them was a lot of replay. So when I had a spread, say Tim, your first score is a 4, Brian throws an 8, and Raz throws a 6, and I'm head judge, and I'm kind of feeling the 6. The 8's a little far out. The 4 is a little low, a little hard.
Brian's gonna win the heat, dude. Brian.
No, but you know what I mean. You talk it out, or you go, let's watch Brian's wave again. Let's watch it again. Or we use
take
colors.
A couple deductions off of that sucker.
I'll be like, I kind of got up slow. You kind of know. Listen.
Yeah, I got you. So you guys break down which wave you want to rewatch, and you watch it together, and you make the decision on what the score is, right?
Yes, and there's a dedicated guy in the WSL that sits behind us and captures every wave and puts them in. All the 7.5s are together. All the 7.83s are together. All the 8-point rides are together. So maybe later on in the event, you go to throw an 8, and they show you this wave that's clearly better, but it was a couple days ago, and you forgot about it, and you're like, oh yeah. So it's a tool that you use. You don't overuse it because you don't want to judge off replay. You want to judge from the gut.
Right.
You know, it's just like gymnastics. It's like someone does a big flip and lands perfect. That's your 10. Where with surfing, you got to leave something out, especially at the level that these guys bring, like the Dane Reynolds and Jordy Smiths and those guys. The level that they bring to surfing, you've almost got to compress the scale so low to when they've got to pull a rabbit out of a hat to get an 8.59.
Right.
That's been the problem, I feel like, with some of the top end stuff with Kelly and John and them. It's almost like they're making them overperform for scores. Where a good judge will just capture the moment, categorize it, make sure the right 2 surfers move on.
And that's why usually the beginning of the heat, they'll score kind of, even though it was a 10 or a 9.5, they'll go like 8.5, because they don't want to go too high. They got to leave some ceiling room. They got to
save room for the 10s,
for the even better waves,
Well, speaking of wave IQ, Gordon, I know you're a member of the Space Coast Board Riders over 50 group.
Sure.
So, and we're going to have Mason Sapp on here soon. So I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about that.
Wait,
yes, so,
put it on Gordo, Brian. Show us that hat and stuff again.
Oh shit! Look at that.
Oh, the surf.
Yeah.
Surf. Space Coast Board Riders Club, right? So you're in the contest and that, and how does that work?
So we organized this. We got kind of thrown in the fire. Jacksonville already had their team, and St. Augustine had their team, and my buddy Mason Sapp kind of picked up the reins on it and was like, I'm going to get this together. And here's the only big hiccup is you got to get 28 people motivated to compete. And you got to get them all to join up on your team. There's really no money in it. There's just a pat on the back and like a little bit of prestige that you won. But it's like, it's been unbelievable. We got Philip Waters, we've got Blake and Justin Jones, and it's really specific about where you learned how to surf. It's not so much where you live now. Like Frida Zamba lives in our town, but she's Flagler. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
She was
It's like-
Ormond Beach or something growing up,
Ormond,
right?
exactly. He's Ormond, Flagler Pier. And then it's like, if you've got, you can't really say Shea Lopez or Corey because they're more Volusia County now. They're like, but they're Clearwater.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? It's like
West
you got,
Coast,
and
yeah.
Space Coast, we have deep roots. We have all those names we spoke about earlier, the Slaters, the Todd Hollands, the Rich Rudolphs, the Bill Johnsons, everybody from, I mean, it's crazy. The kids now, the young kids that we have this little, we have Beckham McCart, we have Teddy Whitman, we have Logan Rad, we got all these young girls that shred, Kylie Puccini, and these are kids that help us win this series. There's a 3-cup series where we did St. Augustine, then we did Melbourne Beach, and then we did Jacksonville, and we won 2 out of 3 events. And I surf for the over 50, which is super competitive. You've got Butchie, you've got Kent Campare. You know Kent, right? Kent,
Yeah.
He's a
Shout out, Kent.
What's up, Kent?
He'll catch 8 waves. Like when we have our tryouts for the team, he'll get 5 or 6 waves before I even get one. I'm like, what the heck? He's like, he switches on ESA 3AG.
Spider-Man.
He's a frother, bro. That guy. I've had him out here in Hawaii with me, and I when he came that year, we scored everywhere we went. We was just on fire, and man, he would, like you said, paddle out, first wave, there he is. I already see him getting one. He just he's an animal in there in the water.
Yeah, so we got everyone. It's good to see the community kind of come back though with the Space Coast and really kind of rep our area. And it's Brevard County is really our area. It's Sebastian Inlet to Play Linda. CT Taylor's our coach. I think you guys had Randy Nolan on.
Yeah, we had Randy Nolan last week. What's up, Randy?
Randy is one of our kingpins on the team. He's the over 40 ringer, dude. That guy is gnarly, and and you got all this talent that we tapped into, and all the boys are Kenny Kozak. Everyone's fired up, and it's like, it's an honor to be on this team, to be a Space Coast board rider. I feel like we really needed this. I feel like the older guys are like cool with the kids now, and the young kids are like, oh, Todd Holland's actually cool. I didn't think he was, Now they're figuring it out, and they're like, this is our community, and this is what we need to support. So it's really, I'm stoked you guys asked about it because I'm really happy about it. It's been fun.
Cool, man.
I didn't realize how territorial surfers were. So Tim was giving me these stories about like these beach beatdowns. Like, is that a thing? Is that like a deal?
Know about the Hui and the North Shore, the Hui,
Oh, man.
they're real deal, bro. You don't go out there and just take off on. There's a pecking order at Pipe and all the spots.
Same thing at Sebastian back in the day. I mean, it was pretty gnarly.
That's how surfing is, man. You go out there, you don't just go right out and start taking over. You got to kind of, slide
You gotta
in.
show some skills.
So
The best knowledge I could teach you guys, or what I do in Hawaii when I go to like Big Island and I'm surfing Kona or wherever, like Banyans, and first thing I do is tell the biggest Hawaiian, bro, that wave was sick, you just caught. And then I'm in. And he's like, and then that's what I do. That's my technique, bro. I go out, I see the biggest brother that's catching the waves, and I give him credit. And then he's like, I'm cool,
That's smart.
That's been my way in for years, So
Yeah.
just a little knowledge for you there, Brian.
All right, because I was getting ready to figure out if I needed to go, bring like a beach bag with like some brass knuckles and one of those,
No,
those aluminum bats.
You eat a Loco Moco and then go out there and float a Baby Ruth and clear out the lineup for a minute.
Yeah, that'll work.
That always works for me.
No, we don't really have that much of a the inlet. Sebastian Inlet, like Brad said, used to be real heavy pecking order, and you had to earn respect there and chip away at first peak as much as you could and try to sneak waves, in between those rippers. Where Hawaii, I think it's a necessary thing to have guys that actually keep tabs of the lineup and keep people from getting hurt more than anything. Where
Right.
Well, yeah. I mean, who wants to get beat down? They probably got like a roll of ambulances.
Well, that's after you hit the reef and bounce off of it. They get lickings up on the
Brian's like, bro, I'm ready to fight him. I go, no, dude, you don't want to fight him. You know,
I'm like, but I'm like,
whole North Shore after you. Then you know,
I'm like walking out there with a beer belly, and I got one of those fighter things in my mouth, like it's all pink or blue, you know, depending on the '80s, right? Like, and I'm out there like,
yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, Brian, you wouldn't make it out there, brother.
I don't know, dude. I'm pretty
See
scrappy.
there at Kaiser Permanente. Have your own room. That's the hospital for those that don't know.
Yeah, well, hey, Gordon, man, it's been a pleasure having you on the show, man. I mean, I really appreciate you taking the time to come talk to us, and it's been great catching up with you, man. I haven't seen you in years, and I love you about the WSL judging thing. I hope you get back on that, because that's awesome, man. And if you come to Hawaii, look me up. I'd love to see you, man, and it's great to see you.
Congrats on the family, and hope this board monkey thing helps Gordzilla boards out, and we're blessed to have you on, man. Thanks for coming on.
No,
And hey, all you listeners out there, get a board. You live in Florida, get on that website, order you a board, custom shape.
And all you little groms watching this, if you want to get on, let Gordo know. He's got the connects.
That's
Yes,
right.
sir.
Thanks, Raz.
Yeah, brother.
Respect, boys.
Love
Yeah.
you, man.
Great having
all right,
you.
guys. Well, it's been another fabulous, outstanding episode. Till next time, Matt Coasters. We'll see you later.
Yeah, right on, boys.
No music.
All right.
We don't know music anymore.